It's really important for Scorpio to understand that the Scorpionic process is, yes, it is one of intensities, obsession, annihilation, extremes, death. Like they can be very familiar with that part of it. But there is, again, this part of breaking out of the cocoon of new life, of being vulnerable in that new life state. And if a Scorpio is only identifying with the death experience of it, or justifying or creating insulation around the core fear, then they are cutting themselves off from the true power and beauty of that whole process. And it's fun to joke, and I think it's healthy to some extent to find communion in just the bad experiences and the effed up stuff or the stupid things that we do, or the mistakes, or the jagged parts that come from sort of maturing and learning how to wield the energy. But you also have to realize that there's a part of Scorpio energy that is not necessarily like that. There can be an experience of Scorpio energy that's actually somewhat boring, consistent. It can be a lot like its opposite sign, which is Taurus, which when you're rising from a rock bottom point or traumatic experience, like a lot of it is Taurian, putting one step in front of the other and working your way out. It's not always sexy. And there's something sexy about the Scorpio darkness that's like, it can be an aesthetic. It can also be like a blanket, a comfort. That darkness, that chaos, that disarray can seem more familiar. And if Scorpio identifies only with that part of it, they are limiting the world of possibilities. They're limiting the call to complete the other part. Think about Scorpio energy as this call towards karmic mastery, of being ready and nimble and somewhat steady, because you're never going to avoid these super intense death experiences in life. They will come, and there's nothing that you can do to control that. And one of the best orientations for Scorpio is this idea of punching when you have to punch and kicking when you have to kick. And sometimes people think about mastering Scorpio energy as not being afraid of the darkness, not being afraid of that death and messiness, but always creating that, or over-identifying with that, or always running towards that, is not always indicative of a lack of fear of that. Sometimes it indicates a fear of that coming that is so uncomfortable that Scorpio can purposely and preemptively run towards it because it feels familiar.